Bitcoin University. I'm your host and online Bitcoin professor, Evander Smart, founder of Bitcoin University. In today's video lesson, what is a Bitcoin? So we're going to go over a very low-tech edition of what a Bitcoin is. A lot of you are just looking to get into the space or just looking for a better understanding of what a Bitcoin is. You're not coders, you're not developers, you just want to understand what this technology is, why I should be involved. You don't want to have a deep technical explanation, as I can break it down and explain it to anyone in very simple terms and take all the tech jargon out of it and introduce this to you so that you'll understand it and start using it quickly and easily. So I want to compare it to things you've already used, and this will help you to, again, start using it much more quickly. Now, I've been in the Bitcoin space since 2013, and it's still hard to describe or understand fully what a Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is a digital currency and a global economic protocol, and they are used by tens of millions of people worldwide. So the best way to describe Bitcoin is as a financial version of the internet itself. So think of it this way. Like on your phone, you have apps, like you have Instagram and you have Facebook and you have all these other apps. Bitcoin is basically a financial app on top of the internet. So like Instagram is an app on your phone, Bitcoin is an app on top of the internet. It is based upon the internet. It is modeled after the internet, and it works a lot of the same ways that the internet works, in a global, decentralized fashion that anyone can use. Now, Bitcoin was started as a white paper on October 31st, 2008, and it went live on January 3rd, 2009, so it has been in use for over a decade now. What we do understand clearly is that it works very, very well at its intended function, since it has performed over 400 million transactions around the world. Now, a Bitcoin can be many, many things, so it is difficult to categorize it. Its first of many applications is as a currency, much like email was the first application of the internet itself. So again, let's compare it to the internet. Let's go back a generation or so. Let's go back into the 1990s. Before we had Google and search engines and Facebook and Twitter, basically the internet itself was just an email service. We had AOL, we had Netscape, we had CompuServe, and people were using it as email. If I were to show you the internet in the 1990s, the first thing I would show you is email. So email is kind of the foundation of what the internet is. And it is the largest, most popular application inside of the internet. With Bitcoin, the first application is as a global digital currency. But this is not all that a Bitcoin will become, just like email is not all that the internet became. So again, Bitcoin is designed to operate a lot like the internet, and there are more apps and more use cases for Bitcoin as we go along as the years go on. Now we're heading into our second decade, and Bitcoin is growing faster and becoming more of a well-rounded technology that can do a lot more things than just digital currency. The better question may be, what isn't a Bitcoin? A Bitcoin can be a stock or a bond. It could be a savings account or a bank. It can be a commodity or a currency. It can be a store of value or an investment. And it is always a public ledger to record a transaction history. So there is a global public blockchain where you can basically see all of the transactions from the beginning, from the Genesis block in 2009 to today. And again, a lot like the internet it is based on, Bitcoin's capabilities are only limited by your imagination. So again, keep this in mind. Bitcoin is basically a learning technology. Like the internet itself, the internet is growing every day. There's new blogs, there's new websites, there's new videos, there's new accounts adding to the internet every day. With Bitcoin, it's the same thing. There are new applications for Bitcoins. There's new BIPs or Bitcoin improvement proposals. So there will be decentralized apps. There is more Bitcoin uses in different locations in the world, different languages in the world. And there are coders, developers, IT professionals. People are constantly making new ways to use Bitcoins. It is open source code, so anyone in the world who's a coder or a developer can look at the code and make adjustments, make BIPs, and help improve Bitcoin and make it more useful for more people around the world. It is best to think of Bitcoin as a derivative or a son of the internet itself. Bitcoin as a protocol is decentralized, global, and is a technology without any true restrictions of use, again, like the internet itself. Age, location, net worth, or identification is not used to restrict the use of Bitcoin, much like these are not limits to the internet. Bitcoin can even be a property, at least according to the United States tax code. This highlights its versatility and the conundrum it creates. Bitcoin is proving to be simply too advanced for the world's regulators at this point. It's a lot like regulating the internet, right? So think about it. Bitcoin cannot be held in your hand. It's not a physical property. It's an online protocol and asset. It's a digital asset. So how could you label it as property? That doesn't even make sense. How do you hold a property? You would think of a property as something physical, but you can't hold a Bitcoin physically in any space. So again, this proves how advanced and complicated Bitcoin is and how far ahead it is of regulations. It's not really designed to be categorized, pigeonholed, or regulated. Again, like the internet, it is modeled after. And Bitcoin is encrypted technology. What that means is any Bitcoins sent are kept in a virtual safe that can be opened only by the intended recipient. Privacy attacks, identity theft, fees from third-party intermediaries, and days to process transactions are now a part of human history. The world of finance is literally changing forever as we speak. Oh, and did I tell you that Bitcoin can also process all of these abilities almost instantly and can be verified within 10 minutes. So again, every Bitcoin transaction goes through in seconds and can be verified in 10 minutes or even faster in many cases. Wire transfers, in comparison, take up to 3 days to reconcile. Your debit card transaction can be undone up to 540 days into the future as a chargeback. But Bitcoin is what is known as hard money. Once the Bitcoin transaction goes through, it cannot be undone. Now, I've only scratched the surface of the advantages of using Bitcoin over using basic current 20th century technologies. So let's stop here unless you have 3 hours to finish this list of all the things a Bitcoin can do for you. Hopefully, this makes you want to learn more about what some are calling the future of money. So this concludes this video. Thank you so much for watching. I am Evander Smart, your online Bitcoin professor. Take care.